Hi everyone, welcome to this new edition of our podcast Cluster Talks, where we discuss the insights on the clusters around Europe. And in this particular day, we have as our guest Nicollas Balland. Welcome, Nicolas. Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for inviting me.
Nicolas, he's working at the ARIA Auto Cluster, and he's the director of a very interesting project called Electromob. But he's also responsible for the R plus D and innovation as well. But before we go inside that, talk us a little bit about your cluster, and because you mentioned that you collect a big region in France, right? That's where you are located in the north, is it?
Yes. So ARIA stands for Regional Automotive Industry Association. We cover all the other France region, so from the very north, Dunkirk, where we have a lot of batteries projects, up to the very north of Paris, so a pretty huge region to cover. We have about 240 members, and we support them on four main activities. The first one is R&D, innovation, collaborative projects.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is support them in developing competitiveness, lean manufacturing, digitization, performance, industrial performance. So how to be more competitive. The fourth one is international. So we work a lot with the neighboring countries. So because they are closer, we work a lot with the Netherlands, with Belgium, with the UK, but I hope soon with Spain. And the fourth part is training skills. We have in-house training center, but we also we are also leading some projects to develop skills for new industries like the battery industry, which is setting up in the region.
That's one of the things that I just was amazed with what you said. So, from one of these four areas that you focus on the cluster, one of them is R plus D plus innovation. That's a huge challenge for us in our class. I'm really willing to learn and understand how do you do it, because in our cluster we have seven areas. One of them, of course, is competitiveness. We have another one which is also training, and we do not do our own trainings. We identify some needs on the market, and then we have partners to attend them. But we have this area as well. We have an international area, of course, and then we have logistics, because it's a huge part of our cluster members, and also has sustainability. So it's very similar than the one you have. And one of our areas is as well innovation, product innovation. But we had that area rebranded for the last 10 years, and we are not able to really launch it. I mean, we do some things every year, workshops, some dynamics, something like that. But if I compare the activity of the other areas in the cluster against the activities that we have in the R plus D, is something that's very difficult for us. I don't know how do you do it, but in our case, the main stopper is because we are discussing product, and there are some patent related, very state of the art solutions in some cases, something like that. It's something that our members heartfully share in a collaborative environment, like we do in the other supply and or I don't know, logistics and competitiveness, and in all the other areas. We're really capable to work on the from the collaborative point of view. But how do you do it to engage your members on the R plus D plus innovation, Nicholas?
Yeah, I didn't say it's easy. it's also a challenge for us.
It's a challenge as well.
Yes, we are known as a manufacturing region. So
Okay.
we are in Hauts-de-France. We are the first region in terms of production.
Okay.
So in France, so we produce a lot of vehicles or parts or whatever, but we are known as a manufacturing region.
Mm-hmm.
So innovation is a challenge for us, and develop the innovation culture among our partners and members. So we, since nearly 2 years now, we created a cycle of what we call tech days.
Okay. Tech
Basically,
days. Okay.
tech days. So we organize generally with our pet partners from the Netherlands and Belgium specific topics. For example, we had a tech day on a specific topic, which is thermal management for EVs.
Mm-hmm.
We invited universities, research labs, test centers, OEMs, and we discussed, we presented the state of the art, what are the upcoming technologies, and we bring together all these actors, and if we detect some opportunities in terms of setting up a project, trying to get subsidies, etc., at the regional, national, or European level, we explore it and try to set up a new project. So that's one format, let's say. The other another format is we created an innovation club. So we gather, we bring together all the R&D manager from our members. I think it's 4 times per year.
Mm-hmm.
And we propose a topic, and we discuss on it. We present, and we try to make ideas emerge from the discussions, and we try to go on with the objective to deliver or create a project.
So let me ask you, in both cases, that both Tech Days and the Innovation Club, you mentioned that you discuss the topics. Do you? How is the format? How do you do it? I mean, it's like is it online? Is it all together presentially? It's like a webinar, so they each one presents some solution and then discuss it. How do you manage those workshops?
It's a physical meeting.
Okay.
We are hosted in a university, in a school, in a company, and we try to cover all the region, because from the north to the south we have about 250 kilometers. So we have to be fair and make sure we cover all the region. And yes, we bring together companies and researchers. So
but who does the presentations? I guess the technological centers in the universities, they are I mean, delighted to present whatever they are doing. Does the companies present as well?
Yeah. They present. Like that. So we all sign a kind of NDA.
Okay.
So we trust each other.
You signed the NDAs for the Tech Days?
For the Innovation Club.
For the Innovation Club.
Yes, because the Tech Day is a more public event.
Okay.
So anyone can join.
Okay.
But for the Innovation Club, the idea is to discuss what are the common subject we could work on. So we need a minimum level of discretion.
I guess you do. How many people is in the innovation club?
We
Regular
invite
meetings. Meaning
the distribution list is about 50%,
Okay.
but in general we have about 20-25%.
so it's I mean it's not small group, but it's small enough to be some intimacy there, right? To talk about
Yes,
the
and
topics.
it's important not to have too many people because you need interactivity. So
Yeah.
So yes, in general we have 20-25%, and we try to, as I say, to cover all the region and discover. It's also important the technical platforms which are or could be available to others. For example, we have OP Mobility in the south of the region. It's an R&D center on H2 high pressure tanks.
Mhm.
They have a specific test platform. So maybe it could be useful for others. So we discuss how they can access these platforms, or an EMC room, for example.
Mhm.
It's not used full time, so maybe others could
Can use
use
it as
it.
well, right?
Yes, so we try to organize at the end of the innovation club. We try to organize a visit to discover all the platforms, whether it's on an R&D center, an industrial site, or in a research lab.
So do you host every innovation club meeting in a different location? I guess
Yes.
that's very interesting. I guess technological centers mainly, and but does the companies as well work as a host?
Yeah. The R&D department, yes, they can host and they present their platforms, their technological platforms. Yeah.
That's very interesting. And what about the tech days? So the tech days, do you do it? Do you do it on specific topics? How many of them do you do along the year? Because for the innovation club, you mentioned it's almost 4 times a year, so every quarter, more or less. And what about the tech days? So how many topics do you discuss? Are they always the same topics, or do you just get some information about what's on the air, what's interesting at the moment, and then decide the next topic?
For the tech days, we organize one tech day per semester.
Per semester, so it's
Because
twice a year.
yes, because it's pretty heavy to organize. We have, in general, between 100 150 attendees.
Whoa, that's a huge number.
So so it's not easy. So how we organize it and how we select the topics. So we have a kind of a steering committee with our Dutch and Belgian partners, and we, depending on the actuality, we try to identify a common subject, because each cluster has their own priorities. So we try to find a common subject, and based on this subject, we organize the day, and we identify participants and speakers who can present their projects, their technologies, their insights.
That's very interesting, Nicolas. I think that's amazing. And as I understood, the tech days, you do it together with other classes, right? So it's not.
Yeah.
Are there other classes for your region, or classes the same automotive industry but from other regions?
Both.
Both. So you put together as much people as you can, right?
Yes. So we work closely with RAI Automotive NL, which is the automotive cluster in the Netherlands,
Mm-hmm.
with Agoria Tech, which is the automotive cluster in Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
But we also work with competitiveness cluster in our region.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the last one we organize it with a competitiveness cluster called EURA Materials.
Mm-hmm.
So they work specifically on
Yeah, we have a
materials.
material cluster as well here in Catalonia. That's interesting.
Because they have their own projects, their own members,
Uh-huh.
which are not necessarily from the automotive industry. So it's also interesting to see how the other industries manage
Yeah, similar
different
challenges.
topics.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, so it's very interesting to see what is developed in other industries as well,
Mhm.
because it can bring ideas to other. Yeah.
I'm very interested on understand what are the last topics that you discuss on the tech days, because I mean tech days could mean anything, and especially how do you do it to keep it on the product topic. I mean, not discussing tech days for production lines, I guess, but as I understood, the tech days are specifically for product development, product innovation, product R plus D. Is it?
Yes. The last topics was the first one we organized was about EV thermal management in EVs. So
Okay.
it's from a system point of view, so not only on the battery pack, it's all over the car.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have a lot to say because there are a lot of technologies upcoming. We also had a tech day about incorporating natural fibers into plastics.
Mm.
That was the last one. We had a tech day about automated cars, connected cars, sensors, and we organized it in at Bosch, Robert Bosch proving ground in the region.
Mm.
And the next one is currently being developed, so we don't know exactly, but it will be on material.
Mm. That's very interesting. That's very interesting. And I guess so the tech days. So you pick up the topic, you go to some companies, I guess, to technological centers, universities, etc., and you ask for their best experts on the subject, right? And
Mhm.
what do you do with that? I mean, you prepare some kind of speeches there, so you have some speakers talking on the topic, and then you have like round tables to discuss, or how do you manage the dynamic on how long is a tech day? Is it one day event?
Yes, it's a one-day event because
Morning and afternoon, so it's a whole day.
yeah,
Okay.
the whole day. We identify, depending on the subject, we have a pretty good idea about who we can invite,
Uh-huh.
or which institute or research lab or company, and we send a kind of call for presentation. So
Mm.
they answer, they propose subjects, they propose topics. We collect all the presentation, and then we build the program. So yes, that's how
And then you
we
select
organize it.
the best or the more accurate ones.
Yes, yeah.
So then there are conferences all day long, also round tables, I guess.
Um, Not for the moment.
No, so that's the kind of a keynote, right, on the topic
Yeah, yeah.
all day long.
It's more keynote format, but we organize also uh, coffee breaks so they
They
can
can,
discuss
talk among
together
them. So it's
yeah.
100% offline. It's 100% presentially, right?
Yes, we try to make it physical because it's more human.
And nowadays it's something
Um,
very valued, right?
yes, and we notice that if it's online, there are less interactivity, less
Yeah.
discussion. So even if you organize a kind of virtual
No, it's
networking
not the
session
same.
with virtual rooms,
No.
etc., it's not the same.
Not the same, not the
Yeah,
same. No, 100% agree with that. We try it actually to manage somehow of like a follow up after an online meeting. Some of the platforms offer some kind of solutions. Teams, Zoom,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Google Meet, they all thought about some possible solutions. But I don't know your experience, but I would say that none of them really work. I mean, not even a tenth of what a face-to-face meeting during maybe
Mm.
your coffee or whatever.
Yeah, and also we try to organize it in an emblematic site. So
Okay.
we try to organize also visits as well.
Visits
Either
related to the topic or more like
yeah,
cultural visits?
no, on the
On
topic.
the topic.
Uh, so we can visit the the site which is hosting the event, but we also try to identify companies which are linked to the subject, which are very close of the site,
Mhm.
and organize visits.
All in one day. So, I mean, it's a very, very scheduled day.
Yes, we need a timekeeper or several timekeepers. See, yes, it's a bit military, but it works.
It works, it works. And does the along the day there are they some at the same time different conferences and different visits, or it's everyone has the same timeline?
Yes, same timeline. We try to start pretty early in the morning, so those who are a bit further from the others arrive the evening before.
Uh-huh.
If there are enough people, we try to organize a networking dinner the evening before.
Oh, okay,
So
because they have to travel, and most of them spend the night. You organize a dinner
yeah,
the night before.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
very interesting. That's very interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I really like that. So, and you have more than 100 people attending this event
yeah.
twice a year. Amazing, my
Mm.
friend. That's amazing. That's amazing. And later on, do you have any kind of follow-up of that? I mean, on the R plus Z plus innovation area in your cluster, these are the two main activities, or later on, do you have some kind of follow-up on what's happening on the collaborations among the companies, or do you organize those two topics, those two activities, and then you let them to the magic happens, and you sometimes you know, sometimes you don't. How do you do any kind of follow up or not?
Yes, not really. We try to give the seeds,
Uh huh.
let's say,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and and then we try to harvest weeks or months after,
Mm-hmm.
because as you know, for when we talk about R&D innovations, there's a kind of secret there
It is,
behind.
it is, it
So
is. Absolutely, absolutely.
generally, we have feedback from some participants for connecting with one or another, or try to arrange meetings with research labs, try to find a project call, etc. So it's not structured, but we have feedbacks to dig into one or several subjects. Yeah.
Nicolas, that's amazing. I think you're really doing a great job with that, and it's a great way to get some dynamics on this innovation R plus D area, and I think that's amazing. That's amazing. How do you came up with the idea, and how was the? I mean, how long have you been doing that?
A bit more than 2 years ago, we started to.
Oh, so you start recently?
Because the Innovation Club was existing, but it was not very developed and a bit not as dynamic as now.
Mm-hmm.
And the Tech Days we started 2 years ago. So as I mentioned, we are a manufacturing region, so it's not into our genes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not genetic. So
you have
we
to
have
make it happen, right?
Yes, we have to develop it, and we have to try to spread a kind of innovation culture among the ecosystem, even if we have several R&D centers from OEMs in the region, but especially for SMEs, it's not natural.
Yeah, especially for SMEs, especially for the SMEs. That's right. That's right. I love the idea. I think I'm gonna try to set both of them. So I think I'm gonna came back to you to ask you more questions maybe later on, because I think it's a great way to promote the innovation in the area. And the innovation club, it's a tricky thing, but it seems that you find the way to make it happen, signing the NDAs as you mentioned, and meetings and discussions. It's very interesting. Let me ask you, in both cases, both the Tech Days and the Innovation Club, all the like the presentations they share on the keynotes and everything, do you make them available later after the event, or they keep private and people just take some pictures maybe or some notes during the presentation? And do you make it available for the people who doesn't attend the event, or in case you only make it for the ones who attended?
First, we ask the speakers if we can send them or not.
Yeah.
And second, we send them only to the participants who came
to the event. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. That. That's amazing. I really like it. I really like it because it's a way that you can share what's happening, what's happening on the region, at the same time promoting to have more innovation. As you mentioned, maybe it's not natural for your region, but at the same time, I think you're doing a great job with that. That's amazing. That's amazing. Does the other areas work similar than this one, or do you have different dynamics on the other areas on the cluster?
For each pillar I described earlier, R&D, innovation, collaborative projects, competitiveness, international and training skills, etc. We try to organize one club per pillar.
Oh, you have one club per pillar.
Yes, we have an HR club, we have a maintenance club, we have we try to bring together all the experts, specialists to discuss, to share experiences. Yes, it's very important, and it's very welcome by our members.
That's amazing. For us, after the COVID, we are really struggling to make people come to our meetings. To be honest, online meetings, they are amazing, especially when the topic is a hot topic. But to ask people to move from their office, from their production planning, come to a meeting, it's really a challenge for us, to be honest. And despite that we are in the Catalan region, but despite our territory is more or less the same as yours, 95% of our members are around, I would say, 50 kilometers area, 50. So it's a really small area, but we are really struggling to ask them to move from from the comfort of their homes or offices. It's a really challenge we have there. Um, we succeed, we have some success time to time on very particular kind of meetings where people really want to attend it. But generally speaking, we had to move, I would say, like 80, maybe not 90, but 80% of our activities are online nowadays. Otherwise, we're not able to manage. However, I have to say that we also increase almost 3 times the number of webinars and workshops and project meetings, because before the pandemic, we had around around 300 meetings per year on the different topics that we discussed, the 7 pillars, the 7 subjects we have. We call it strategic areas. So we have some meetings regarding the area, generally speaking, similar to your clubs. And then we have meetings regarding the collective projects that we hold. Some of them are small meetings among 5, 6, 7 companies. Some of them are meetings with maybe 20 or 30 companies, right, related to a particular project. It depends on the projects, of course. And from this dynamic, we had around 300 meetings per year, one plus the other ones. Right now, last year, we end up to 900 meetings per year, which is a huge increase, 3 times that the amount we have 5 years ago. However, as I mentioned, 80+% they are online meetings, which makes sense in most of the cases. But I really miss the time where we can, meet face to face and then have some interaction. And because that it's not only the time that you're attending the meeting or the roundtable or discussing the topic, but it's the time when you are on the hold, when you are taking a coffee or walking to the car, the parking lot, whatever. You see someone, oh, hold on, and something happens there, some sparks happen there, right? And I'm really missing that, to be honest. And best thing we find out is if you put food on the meeting, right? Some kind of cookies or drinks or beverages or coffee or something like that, people come more often. But out of that, we don't know how to do it, my friend, to be honest. We don't know how to do it.
Yeah. For the clubs, we also try to invite an expert or somebody who can give an inspiring conference or feedback about about a topic. So it can be an incentive to make people come if we have somebody giving a testimonial or sharing experience. So our ambition for the club is not to have 100 people each time. If we have 20 people, it's enough. In the maintenance club, for example, what we do, and again, it's submitted to confidentiality. We plan a tour of the shop floor, for example, and the club is reserved for maintenance managers, and they can observe what is being done on the site, giving advice, how they would have handled the problem, etc. So they share, they give solutions, just share insights. So it's really a discussion, sharing experience.
That's amazing. Let me ask you, related to the clubs or any other areas in the cluster, what are the main challenges that you are facing right now related to the management of the cluster? Because I mean, on the automotive industry, there are many challenges, right? Thanks to our friend Trump in the States, to China, or to electric. I mean, sector related, we could talk about 100 challenges we have right now. But cluster management related, what are the biggest challenges that you are facing right now?
The hot topic at the moment is electrification.
Is
So
it?
yeah, so all the industry in the region has moved or is moving to electrification. So most of the assembly sites, Stellantis, Toyota, Renault, have moved to electrified vehicles.
Mhm.
So they all produce now at least hybrid vehicle.
Mhm.
For Renault Ampere, they produce only electric vehicle now. Um, I don't know the market in Spain, but in France, EVs are the market share of the EVs are only is only 17% of the total
I
amount
think
of
in Spain we are even lower than that number. I think I would
yeah.
say
So
13, 15 maximum.
the production figures are not as high as we expected, but there has been a lot of investment to build these new factories, these new assembly
Yeah.
lines. The SMEs had to follow, so they had to move their to change their product range, their production tools, etc. So we are a bit on a waiting phase for the EV sales to ramp up.
Mhm.
So yes, Toyota is doing well. They produce about 300,000 cars per year, so it's very
Only in your
uh,
region?
yes, in the Ona Toyota plant, yes,
Great, good numbers.
yeah. For Stellantis and Renault, the new Renault 5 is a great success.
Mhm.
But the Scenic E-Tech, for example, or Megane E-Tech, we are not at the expected production
Yeah,
figures.
yeah.
So yes, it's a challenge, but we expect that the sales will start really. The other challenge is the setup of the gigafactories in the region. So we have ACC, Vercor, AESC, Prologium, Tiamat on sodium-ion batteries. So a lot of industry, big investments in billions.
Mhm.
So we have to support the setup of this new industry, and we have to. It's not really an issue or a problem. We estimated 13,000 people to recruit, to train.
Good number.
Uh, yes, so it's not a real issue. It's an opportunity, but the challenge is to source, to train, and to make sure that these new resources will be trained on time for the start of production. So that's the aim of the Electromob project
Mhm.
we discussed earlier. So yes, it's a challenge. The start of production is also, I would say, delayed because the EV sales are not
Yeah.
as expected. So if gigafactories supply the car manufacturers, they supply depending on the production figures. So yes, it's a kind of a vicious loop. And on the second phase, we are also supporting companies from upstream and downstream the battery value chain. And they depend on the gigafactories. So we have a chain with a lot of dependencies, and that's a challenge. For example, we have two companies which will produce cathode materials. Yes, they will start we expect in 2028, but it's another 2,000 people to hire and train. Yes, so the electrification in the global picture with all the battery value chain is a key topic, hot topic at the moment.
I see. I think something happening around Europe, I would say. In our case, our members are having exactly the same problems. Both they already made some investments on the new platforms for the OEMs, and the volumes they are far away from the ones they quoted, right, on the commercial offers they prepare. Or as you mentioned, the SOPs of the new developments have been pushed. I would say right now, in average, they would be pushed around 8 to 10 months, which is huge because it means that the companies, the tiers that we have, they have a full pipeline. So from the point of view of how many projects they won, they have enough, even more than enough, I would say, in most of the cases. But the reality is that they are not invoicing, right? Because they are not producing, then they are not delivering goods, they are not getting, but they cannot sell more projects because they have to compromise the production time from the product lines they have or the technical, personnel that they have. So that's a huge challenge that we have there on how to unlock this situation all around Europe. And we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens in the next few months. What's the positions you saw that Europe, it's Brussels, it's let's say working down some of the untouchable topics, right? So they are reconsidering, which is a good thing. I think flexibility is the key here, and also they modify the speech. Right now, it's not only all about sustainability, but it's competitiveness, sustainability, right? So we have to be sustainable, but also financially, right? Also from the manufacturing point of view, which is a nice thing. It's I mean, it's something obvious if you want, but it was quite scary 6 months ago, 1 year ago, when everyone was talking about sustainability, ambiental sustainability, right? But no one was thinking about competitiveness or the sustainability of the companies itself, right, from the human and economic point of view. So I think I'm not sure if it's late, but at least we have there some common sense, which is amazing. That some of them came back, some of this common sense came back, and hopefully we'll be on time to modify and rectify. But we have to not forget, I think, that some of the investments have been done. I don't know in your case, but in my case, I have many companies, also SMEs, who decide to move production out of Spain. And in our case, we have Morocco right here, 30 minutes on the plane, right? And few hours on the ship for moving goods with a very nice partnership agreements, tax agreements with both Europe and the United States. So some decisions has been made, and once you make those decisions to invest on a production line on some location, it's not that easy to move back, right?
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'm sharing that with some concern. I have to be honest with you because I'm not sure what's going to be the long-term impact on those decisions, and maybe some of them will be reversible, most of them probably not. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, Nicolas, we are on time. We just closed the mark that we had, and I know you have other meetings, so do I. So I will thank you very much for this time. I think we went straight to a very interesting topic, and we stayed most of the time there, but it was very interesting for me, and I think for most of the cluster managers and project managers from clusters that have been listening this podcast, because I think there's a challenge that most of us have related to innovation. I know a lot of clusters that they have the same challenge, and I'm very happy to hear about how do you solve it. It looks like pretty successfully. So thank you very much for your sharing and for your openness, Nicolas, and talk to you soon. Okay.
Yes, talk to you soon. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you very much, and the rest of you. See you in the next podcast. Take care. Bye.
Bye bye.